Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Now's a good time to go ahead and subscribe. Y'all know. Of course, today's video is in collaboration with Asteria Wig. Sorry, y'all. The phone is hot, okay? It's the black side. Alright. Today's video is actually of a HD lace deep wave 13x4 frontal wig, 22 inches, 180% density. And of course, all the details will be linked down in my description box below. Y'all, I literally just had to read that because yeah, I'm having one of those days. Anyway, you guys can already see the hair is super full, extremely long, really beautiful locked curls. Everything looks to be pretty even. I did go ahead and bleach the knots, which of course, if you guys are not familiar how to do that, then definitely make sure to check out some of the other videos that are listed on my channel already, because I've done it a million times. So today I'm actually going to be showing you how to really quickly take your hair from a dark brown or any other color that is not black to a jet black today, which in my opinion, this makes it super easy to do, especially if you're a beginner and you're not too, fancy when it comes to coloring and you don't want to make a mess and low-key, you just don't have the time, right? So I did go and pick up from my local, I believe it was CVS or Walmart, either or, the Clairol Textures and Tones in the color Silky Black. Of course, if you have a different preference when it comes to box dye, you can definitely do that. If you guys want to go down to Sally's to actually pick up a more professional color, then do that as well. But ultimately, I'm just showing you the technique here. So taking a really old toothbrush, you guys, obviously I use this just for hair, going back and forth. So I actually pre-mix the color, which you guys have seen me do that a million times. It's just a developer and the actual color come together. You shake that. I went ahead and emptied out most of that into a container, just a mixing bowl, of course. And then I'm actually going in section by section to carefully place the color just at the roots. Now I'm doing this because I do not want to get any of the black dye on the actual lace, and this is the best way to prevent that from happening and ensuring that the roots do actually get colored without messing up what you just did with bleaching the knots. So to me, I like to do it in this order as opposed to doing the watercolor and then going back and trying to bleach the knots, just because depending on which box dye you get, it may pull more of a red, it may pull just so many different colors from that base dye that it may just cause more confusion than not. So remember, always lighten and then deposit that color. So here I'm just going throughout. You guys saw in the beginning of this, I was actually using a toothbrush, which just makes it a little bit easier. So if you're not super, nice and neat when it comes to the handwork, go ahead and take the toothbrush. That way you're able to easily apply the color in like a little amount and brush it through in case you get a little bit too much product in any of the areas. So you guys can see what the roots of this one look like versus when I actually go in and apply that jet black dye. For some reason, it just makes it look a little bit shinier, healthier. You guys know, because of course these are the reasons that I do this to my natural hair also. So and anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and just pretty much finish up the color here. And then, of course, I will pop back in to show you guys the watercolor. Boom. So you guys can already tell from here how much more vibrant and healthier the hair actually looks, in my opinion. And yeah, so already the color has started to develop and really take heed. Now we're going to go ahead and move over to our watercolor mixture. And you guys can see all those tones of like reddish brown, dark brown. That's what we're looking to eliminate, right? So this is the easy part. Go ahead and take the remaining contents of your dye and apply that into really warm water, as warm as you can get it. If you have to boil some water beforehand and pour it in there, do that. Or in my case, my bathtub literally starts to boil. The water gets really hot, so I just use that. And yeah, we just started dipping. So you guys see, obviously I have on gloves. I'm being really careful with this because again, we've already pretty much hit those roots. The back of the hair won't matter as much as long as you've gotten it as close to the back of the root as possible, right? But of course with the frontal, this is where we'll be parting the hair. So you definitely want to make sure that that color is evenly distributed as much as possible. And honestly, if you move slow, you will definitely be able to do this, no questions asked. Just be sure not to dip that whole cap. So yes, of course, once you start to dip that cap, just be really careful not to get the base of it in the water. I mean, if you do, it's no big deal, not at all. Nobody's gonna see the inside of the cap. But for me, of course, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I just wanna make sure that everything is perfectly dipped. And of course, we are not undoing our work when it comes to the knots. You guys can already see the color difference and how much of a great impact it's already made. I wish I had like a brush beside me because I definitely would have just wet the brush a little bit and started to distribute the product while it was wet. But again, this saved so much freaking time. It probably took me about 10 minutes to apply the color in the front, and then of course another 5 minutes just to go ahead and properly dunk everything. Once I was done with this, I let it sit for about 5 minutes while I pretty much cleaned up and all that stuff, and then I took this over to of course my sink. That way I was able to really do a good deep condition. So a wash, shampoo, same thing, and a very nice deep condition, which I let that sit on the hair for an additional 10 minutes just to make sure that, of course, because we're going through that process, everything is going to be properly done and in its place. You guys can see I did the same thing with a straight wig. So if you guys are interested in seeing how I did it with straight hair, which of course is a little bit more visible if you make any mistakes, then definitely make sure to subscribe and turn on your post notifications. That way you will not miss it. Alright, you guys, so of course, after doing a nice shampoo wash, I keep saying shampoo wash, it's the same thing. Anyway, after getting all that taken care of, you guys can see how clear this freaking lace is. Let's start there. And then I did ultimately go in and start to doing like a little bit of tweezing just because we wanted to really make sure that this was customized and ready to wear. So, I started off by parting this out. I decided that I wanted to kind of do a middle part, nothing too crazy. Y'all, I don't know if you can hear Dakota, the cane corso, right, in the background, huffing and puffing. She is trying to get some loving right now, and baby, mommy is working, okay? Anyway, so as you guys can see, I parted it out. Now, whenever I do side parts, I like to carry it across the top of the head just because, in my opinion, it makes it look a little bit more believable. And then, of course, once we start tweezing, we want to go ahead and part in a diagonal motion. That way you can really see your work. In my opinion, I prefer to tweeze when the hair is just a little bit more damp. And if it wasn't damp for any reason, then I would just go in with a little bit of mousse, maybe even a little water in a spray bottle, just to kind of help me out. Because when the hair is wet, I can really see what it would look like if I applied any type of like mousse, styling products, or edge control or anything like that when I was done, if that makes sense, right? So when it's time for the baby hairs, the way that everything is going to lay is really going to be according to the way that you customize the unit. Now, obviously, if it's no big deal to you and you don't mind a fuller hairline, you can definitely skip this step. But for me, it just kind of takes it from, okay, baby, the curls are popping, to, baby, what's happening? Okay, that was not really a good, okay. Y'all saw where I was going with that. Anyway, I make sure that in the midst of me tweezing, I take out a little bit of hair here for the baby hair. So maybe about less than half of an inch. Go ahead and kind of part that out and continue to pluck behind the hairline. That way you don't go too crazy and end up with like bald spots or anything. So I usually start to kind of tweeze maybe about 2 inches back from the hairline. And then you guys can see how much cleaner, nicer, and more realistic everything looks. Then I'm going to go ahead and, of course, just trim off the extra hairs because y'all know I love baby hair. If you're not a baby hair fan, to me, I think that it just kind of helps with the style. So even if I decided to push everything back, you just have that nice kind of layered effect, which definitely lays the hair a little bit better. So regardless if you like it or not, it's getting cut. Okay. And so, of course, once I finish this, I'm just going to go ahead and apply a little bit of mousse just to help style it up. It is still kind of damp, so I really didn't have to do much to it, but you guys will see what I end up doing. And when it comes to the cutting technique, literally just kind of putting a little pressure on the scissors and allowing it to chop it in a very not strategic way, because you don't want it to be extremely perfect across. You could definitely do this with a razor comb. It would be a lot simpler, a lot easier in case you are a beginner and you're not really familiar with how to kind of set everything. Now, I don't even remember the name of this mousse that I'm using. Y'all know usually I'm on the Cream of Nature wave, but I was sent this one and another product package that I got. And so I'm like, let me try it out. But honestly, I think it's olive oil. And it sets the hair really, really nicely. There was no sticky residue or anything like that. So I'm happy about that. And you guys can just see how everything is silked out, laid. So for you girls that don't like the baby hair, boom, there you go, right? Just push everything back. Make sure to comb through with the paddle brush, get the curls all set nice and pretty, allow it to dry, and that way when you're ready to pretty much style this up, the hair will be out of the way already. You can literally do this gluelessly, apply it with glue, whatever your heart desires. And so for me, I'm just pretty much styling this the way that I would probably wear it. And yeah, just making sure that like there's not a hair out of place, okay? And for you guys that may be wondering, I'm using a Denman brush just to pretty much style everything. You could definitely use like a paddle brush. There's no pressure here, but the Denman brush just gets to a bulk of hair really quick and kind of sets the curl, especially if you have any product in there. So I'm rubbing the hair between the brush and my hands just to smooth everything down, and you guys can see the color payoff. You guys look so much healthier, so much shinier, brighter, all that good stuff. I mean, I guess I just really like black. There's that. So y'all, meet Sophia, okay? Honestly, I haven't even named her. Y'all name her in the comments. I put this on just to get a better idea of what it would look like on like a client's head and just to really be able to style it up a little bit more. So the next morning, once everything was completely dry, I went through with my hot comb just to really get the roots, right? I wanted to make sure that everything was laid down as much as possible. And so in this case, this is what we have here. And I did go ahead and just take out a little bit of hair to kind of style up for the baby hair. You guys saw that before, but this is where we're getting a little bit more detail, right? So for the girls that actually want the baby hair and you want them laid in a very strategic way, that's a little bit more customizing, right? So same thing we did before, just taking a couple chunks here, not doing this in any strategic way, just kind of allowing the hair to fray on its own. And I'm gonna go in with a really thin, I think this is a 1/4 of an inch flat iron. I can't talk. Anyway, to just curl up the edges, just because with curly hair, it allows it to sit in place without having to use so much products and like, yeah, all that stuff. So you get really nice soft edges. I haven't tried this with straight hair yet, but for curly hair, it just kind of makes sense. So anyway, yeah, y'all know we got that from Arrogant Tay. That was the first time I saw it. But y'all know I was talking smack on Instagram about girls that were doing this with their natural hair and it's all broken off now. So yeah, like leave that for the wigs, y'all. Some stuff is just for the wigs, or at least it is for me, because baby, we believe in protective styles over here. So yeah, taking a little bit more mousse, just setting everything. You guys can see this is the process where it's just kind of like, look, you can either choose to do this on your head or a mannequin, which in my opinion, you don't miss a step, a beat, not anything when you do this on a mannequin, because you really get to see what you're doing. So taking a little bit of my shine mousse. This was from, I think, Bronner Brothers, just to kind of really bring the hair back to life and give it that wet look without actually being wet. So yeah, that's pretty much that on that. A little mousse, a little oil, boom, a little hairspray to set everything into place, and boom, there we go. Everything looks amazing, super shiny, healthy, vibrant. I'm here for the curls. Again, all the details to this will be down in my description box below. If you guys did not know, ForeverCryssy.com exists where I make custom wigs. So if you get a wig, you're not really sure how it needs to be styled and you want me to do that for you, just hit me up, and definitely make sure to check out any coupon codes that I may have listed. I love you guys so much. Stay pretty, and I will see you next time. Bye, babies.